Has Ralph Lauren created a hit with Polo 67? Let's review it and find out. Hey, what's up? Fragrance Hunter here, and welcome back to the channel where I upload weekly fragrance content, so you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure to follow me over on my Instagram page. So today we do have the newest launch from Ralph Lauren, Polo 67. And to be honest with you, I never really get hyped for new Ralph Lauren fragrances for some reason. Just in my head, they've always been like a one-hit wonder with the original Polo green back in like the 70s. And the last fragrance I reviewed from this house was, I believe, Polo Red Parfum, which I didn't give a good review. So hopefully this one redeems itself. But of course, I do want to shout out Ralph Lauren for sending this one over for review. Obviously, that's not going to change my opinions on the fragrance. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And of course, I had to rock the matching Polo 67 hat because it was only fitting. Now let's go with some information. So this was, of course, launched in 2024. It recently just dropped. For the retail price on the two sizes that these come in, which is 75 ml for $92, or you can get the 125 ml like I have in hand for $108. And the price difference on those two is actually pretty crazy. What is that, like a $20 price difference, and you get almost double the size. The concentration is an eau de toilette, which means it is pretty low on the concentration scale of things, a little bit more than like an eau de cologne, but much less than an eau de parfum and an extrait de parfum. But I would imagine that Ralph Lauren is going to start creating flankers after flankers of this one, just like they've done with every single other fragrance in their collection. The perfumer behind Polo 67 is Marie Salomon, which I did have to do a little bit of research to find that out, but she is the nose behind this release. With all that information out of the way, let's look at the packaging and presentation you get with Polo 67 now. All right, so unfortunately, we're only gonna be looking at the bottle since it's the only thing I have in hand, but looking at the bottle, I love the color scheme with that kind of navy blue, with that very modern Polo Ralph Lauren font. Of course, EST 67 because Ralph Lauren was established in 1967, so it's like a throwback. On the bottom, you do have your sticker with your batch code to authenticate your product to see when it was produced. Nothing on the back. On top, you do have the RL. You also have Ralph Lauren kind of embossed around this white ring. Nothing inside of the cap, nothing on the atomizer. Actually, there is a RL, and it does click into place very snugly, but the cap is a cheap plastic. In the top, you have bergamot, lemon, and pineapple. In the middle, you have sage, juniper, and rose hip. And in the base, you have vetiver, patchouli, and goldenrod. And this will be classified as a citrus aromatic. So let's spray this and test out these atomizers. A decent atomizer, even though it's not pressurized, it does spray quite a bit of juice. So let's remind myself of the new Polo 67 now. So right away, when you smell this fragrance, you already could tell this is actually gonna be a hit within like department stores when people are just going to like the Ralph Lauren counter. I can definitely see this fragrance doing extremely well because you get this very kind of crowd-pleasing opening with a tart citrus bergamot. But what makes this one stand out to me at least is that very juicy, fruity pineapple note going on in here. That before anybody says that or compares it to aventus, it's nothing like aventus at all. But you are going to get that pineapple, which is obviously very modern. A lot of people love the note of pineapple. It kind of just captivates people when they smell that note, especially in the opening when they make it good. And in this one, yeah, it's definitely going to do really, really well for Ralph Lauren. But of course, it does have that designer-ish vibe about it. It does not smell like extremely high quality, natural, nothing like that. It just smells like a department store fragrance, but done in a very modern, up-to-date kind of way. Now, once it starts to transition into the mid, which by the way comes so quick once the mid notes start coming through, which does turn very aromatic from, of course, the sage and the juniper, which gives it more of a masculine vibe about it with the aromatic qualities. I mean, it's really hard to go wrong with a good bergamot, pineapple, sage, and juniper note kind of combination, and it's honestly pretty well done in here. Also, not really picking up on any of that rose hip. I'm not getting really any florals, any rosy tones at all. So if you don't like rose, don't worry about it. It's not coming through at all, at least to my nose. And then finally in the base of Polo 67, it starts to turn pretty clean and slightly woody from that vetiver. The vetiver is one of the most dominant notes in this composition. along with a slight earthy patchouli that's not kind of prominent by any means. It's kind of more of like a supportive note to that clean woody vetiver note. I've noticed lately a lot of new fragrances always seem to have a vetiver base, at least when it comes to like designer men's fragrances. It's becoming very, very popular. Just to run it down back to you guys, you basically get this very crowd-pleasing compliment getter opening of the citrus tart bergamot, the fruity pineapple, which transitions into like this aromatic, slightly green tone with a base of a clean woody vetiver and a slightly earthy patchouli. It's honestly a pretty good release from Ralph Lauren, one of my favorites from the house that I've tried recently, along with Ralph's Club. And it's also pretty unique. It might be like a twist on some other blue style fragrances, but it doesn't really smell like Dylan Blue. It doesn't smell like Bleu de Chanel. It doesn't smell like Sauvage. So it does kind of have its own unique take on that blue kind of shower gel genre of fragrance. So for the best seasons to wear Polo 67, for me especially, I'm rocking this bad boy in the spring and summer primarily, because it's not as deep or dense or has that much depth to kind of push through the colder weather. And also from that note breakdown, there's not like heavy notes for that kind of situation either. So primarily the spring and summer, which is a perfect time to launch this one since we just went into spring. It's just very fresh and a little bit light, obviously being an eau de toilette, but I could imagine once they make like an eau de parfum, a parfum elixir, whatever they're gonna do, they'll probably be more suited for the colder weather. But this one, definitely for the hot weather. For occasions, to me, this is without a doubt a casual leaning fragrance. The kind of fragrance you spray on when you're going to the gym, maybe going for a run outside. Just casual things like grocery shopping even. Just gives off that kind of casual, dumb reach sort of vibe of a fragrance right here. It's not really like formal, even though you could dress it up if you really wanted to and it's the only fragrance you have. But if you do have other options, there's much better options for dressing up than this. So if you are looking for a casual leaning fragrance and you want something that is crowd pleasing, smells good, and modern, this is a good one for you. For gender, this is definitely a male targeted fragrance, of course, and it also does lean masculine. Sometimes I don't always go based off of that. Sometimes it's very unisex, leaning feminine and leaning masculine. This one though is a very blue style fragrance that does lean on the masculine side, especially with all the citrus notes and the aromatic notes as well. I couldn't really picture a woman wearing this, but she could if she really wanted to. For age groups, this is actually a very well done, youthful targeted fragrance in my personal opinion. I can see a teenager rocking this one good. If you are a teenager watching this, you have around like $100 to spend, you want something new that not anybody's really wearing, I think this would be a great choice for you if you're going to like a Macy's, a Dillard's, etc. I would recommend this fragrance. If you are a little bit older, you could still pull it off, but it does kind of have this youthful, teenager-ish vibe about it. I guess I would basically say anybody like 25 and below, this is absolutely perfect for. But if you are a little bit older than that, because of the aromatic tones, etc., you could still pull it off without any problems. Now, wrapping the review off, talking on the performance of the new Polo 67. When it comes to the longevity, I did get slightly below average performance. I maybe got around 6 hours of decent longevity until it starts to turn extremely close to the skin, where you have to like put your nose up to your arm to even smell barely a faint of it. But still, 6 hours isn't that bad for an eau de toilette concentration, so no really complaints there. But for the projection, where this one actually did shine quite a bit, because the projection was very kind of heavy for the first maybe 2 to upwards of that 3 hour mark. Of course, being an EDT, the majority of the times when you have a lower concentration fragrance oil, they do project more than like something like an extrait de parfum that may last, 12 plus hours of longevity, but push off the skin like within a scent bubble. This one throws off the skin very nice for the first couple hours. Around 6 hours of longevity and a good loud projection. Remember, this is Ralph Lauren's first take within this line being an EDT, which I'm kind of surprised, because when they came out with Ralph's Club, they first initially launched that as an eau de parfum. They came out with a parfum elixir, but this one, they, I guess, didn't want to do an EDP first, so they did an EDT. Which EDTs aren't always bad if you just want something to spray on that's fresh and will project very nicely. But just don't buy this expecting it to last, all day long. So that's gonna do it for my review of the brand new Polo 67 Let me know down below if you had the chance to try this one, if you're hyped about it. I have seen quite a few people talking about this one, kind of excited about it as well. So if that's you, leave a comment down below if you tried it. Let me know your thoughts on it. But besides that, leave a like on the video, subscribe. Also, if you haven't already and you already know, I'll catch all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.